They weren't on the front line. They were behind it. And in seconds, Ukraine says a single strike erased a key command node. And here's the part nobody's talking about. This wasn't just a hit, it was a system hit. Command, fuel, drones, 3 targets that connect like dominoes. Stay with me, because in a minute I'll show you the one detail that explains why Russia's next move gets way harder after this. Alright, quickly. What happened, what Ukraine claims was destroyed, and what it could change in the next 72 hours. And yes, fog of war is real, so I'll clearly separate confirmed, claimed, and most likely. Ukraine's Special Operations Forces released footage and statements describing a strike on a Russian command post, specifically the command post of an assault detachment tied to Russia's 68th Tank Regiment, part of the 151st Motorized Rifle Division in Andrivka in occupied Donetsk region. Why does a command post matter? Because you don't just lose a building, you lose timing, you lose coordination, you lose the people who turn "we have troops" into "we have an attack." Imagine trying to run a fast assault, without orders, without comms, without the guys who know the plan, while drones are watching everything. And that's just target number 1, because the next hit is what makes this feel like a designed sequence, not a random strike. Ukraine also describes striking a fuel and lubricant storage facility in Ilovaisk. And here's the key phrase. They say it supported Russia's 51st Combined Arms Army. Fuel is the quiet killer. If you damage fuel storage, you don't just stop one unit, you slow everything. Armored movement, resupply runs, generators, even the ability to shift forces quickly. And in winter, when equipment maintenance gets brutal, fuel and logistics become the difference between holding and collapsing. Ukraine also said it struck a storage facility for Shahed and Geran-type drones around the Donetsk airport area. Whether it's fully destroyed or partially damaged, if you force Russia to move these stockpiles farther, hide them deeper, or distribute them, you create friction. And friction is what kills operational tempo. So now we've got command plus fuel plus drones. But here's where this story levels up. Ukraine didn't just hit inside occupied territory. Multiple reports also point to a Ukrainian drone strike on a drone manufacturing facility in Taganrog, Russia, the Atlant Aero plant. Ukrainian sources say the strike caused explosions, a fire, and damage to production buildings. And this matters because this isn't just one more drone site. This factory is linked to the production of drones used on the battlefield, meaning damage here can ripple forward into future weeks of launches. Ukraine's Navy and other outlets described major damage, including production halls destroyed, supported by satellite imagery. Even if you assume the most conservative version, some buildings burned, some production paused, you're still forcing Russia to spend time, money, and manpower just to get back to baseline. And that leads to the big question: is this a one-off, or a shift in strategy? When you line these strikes up, a pattern appears. Ukraine is trying to hit what makes an army function: command nodes, logistics, and drone infrastructure. And there's more context. Independent assessments tracking the war have also pointed to continued Ukrainian mid-range strike campaigns against Russian military targets, like reported hits on ammo storage tied to major Russian formations in occupied areas. And here's the retention moment. Listen, you don't need to destroy every unit. You just need to repeatedly break the links between spot to decide to supply to attack. Break that chain enough times, and offensives turn into stutters. So here's what to remember. If Ukraine's claims hold, this wasn't one strike. It was a sequence. A command post hit, fuel infrastructure struck, drone storage targeted, and pressure reaching across the border into Russia's drone production. Now I want your read. Is this the start of a sustained system hunt campaign, or just a moment that looks bigger than it is? Drop your take in the comments, and if you want the follow-up, I'm tracking what Russia hits back with next.